Got a hole in the wall there. I'm gonna fix it up and I'm gonna show you how. First thing, I know there's a stud right here. When you go to put your sheetrock on, you're gonna have, hang on, just watch. I'm gonna cut a new hole, a straight hole. Alright, I drew out a perfect square that I'm now cut out using a box blade knife. I'm gonna flip the blade around so that it's brand new blade. The sharper the better. Otherwise, you're just having to use more strength. Alright, now that I have my hole cut out, you can see that there's a stud here and a stud here, and I'm gonna attach the new piece of sheetrock on there. But I'm also gonna add some pieces of wood from here to here to here to here. It's called dead wood, and it's gonna allow my new piece of sheetrock to fit onto something, and so if it were to ever be pressed or something, the new sheetrock wouldn't cave in and mess up the tape or something like that over time. So I'm gonna insert these dead woods. I cut it too tight. Whenever you're putting your screws in, you need to make sure that they're countersunk. Instead of leaving the screw out like that, you countersink it, where it's sunk in a little bit. You can see how it's a smooth surface. Alright, now I have my hole prepared, ready for the new piece of sheetrock. So, get my tape measure and measure my hole. 15 1/2. 6 inches will do. Whenever you're cutting your sheetrock, you actually don't have to cut it all the way through like you do for the sheetrock on the wall. You can give it a really good score. Usually the first time you go over it is very gentle, so you can go straight on your line, and then you go over it a second time a little bit deeper, and then after that you can just break the sheetrock. See how I just scored it one time? Breaks real easy. And then you go over the back. It comes right off. Got my sheetrock cut. Fits in place really nice. Alright, got my sheetrock in. It looks really nice. But wait, we're not done yet. Go ahead and get your paper joint tape. I use paper joint tape, the paper kind, because it's the easiest to work with for me personally, and it's the cheapest. So after you get this step done, you want to go ahead and measure out your tape. You need this long strand. Something I like to do. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and mix up your mud. After mixing up your mud, usually a 6-inch knife works best. It's called a joint knife, works best. I don't have one with me, so I'm gonna use this one. Go ahead and lather it on. Now we're going to take our wet paper and go ahead and stick it on. The reason why it's wet is because it works better when it's dry. Wet paper and wet mud works well. Dry paper, it works, but this way is easier for me. after you do that on the first one, go ahead and remud the corners. Do one end, then the next. And again, remud the corners. Last piece. So there you go, that's it. That's step one. So usually you're gonna let this go ahead and dry. And I have a pretty good bout of mud left over. And it's 5-minute mud, so it dries pretty quickly. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a second coat on it right now. My surfaces are pretty smooth. I'm gonna let this dry out. And one small tip when you're working your knife, you know, you hold it like this, and when you're scraping, you kind of put pressure on one side like this more than the other side. So as you go along, you're kind of doing this. It works out to be more like this as you're scraping. So one side is pressed heavily down and the other side is light. And you just do that over and over. Get the practice of it, and you'll get the hang of it. So after this dries, you'll want to go ahead and lightly sand it and go over it one more time. And in the best case scenario, you sand that for the last time, and then you're done. That's it, folks. I'm gonna let this dry up and I'll check back with it later. Hey, I hope you learned something. I hope I encourage you to go out and practice. And honestly, that's how you get better. You just have to practice. I don't encourage you to go knock a hole in the wall.
Figured out. A flying ninja.
Don't be stupid.
Shh, shh.
Just for the sake of practicing, but it is what it is. Well, I'm really hoping this helps you out. If it does, hit the like button. If it doesn't, hit the dislike button twice. So this is it. It's fairly simple, but it's, you know, you still have to be pretty skilled in doing it, and you just have to practice. So thanks for stopping by. I hope I brought you a lot of value and made this seem easy to encourage you to go do it yourself.